Coming up on Tech News Today, HP, don't poke the crazy. Do you really want a fight with Larry Ellison? Also, Google Instant Search, just add words, and Twitter tricks that will get you out of an Afghanistan prison. All that and more.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Wednesday, September 8th, 2010. Tech News Today is brought to you by Slingbox. Watch your favorite TV shows when you're away from home with Slingbox. Check out Slingbox at a Best Buy near you or visit slingbox.com/twit. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Becky Worley.
Becky's back!
I'm back.
Yay! Behind the boards, our excellent producer, Erik Lanigan. How you doing, Erik?
Good. How are you guys?
Hello.
We're doing good. It is time to kick around some tech news of the day, but first, how was your trip?
It was great. It was very relaxing, but then I got home and I was trying to help Mark Hurd find a job. I was trying to buy an iPod without a camera, and then I was trying to post my adult services ads on Craigslist, and all that tech news I missed just slapped me. I just...
Cut you off at the knees, huh?
I can't let it go that long. I'm so out of the loop.
Well, we got more to pile on top of it today. Google had an announcement this morning at the MoMA in downtown San Francisco, which I think they could have done with a video and an email and a blog posting.
It's a little pretentious.
They have launched Instant Search.
Right.
Just add water.
Yeah, that's what it is, and it grows with no. It's not like sea monkeys, Tom.
True, actually. This is something we heard rumored about a while back. The idea is you start typing in, and you know how it does the predictive text? Well, instead of just doing predictive text, it does a predictive page of search results.
Right. Letter by letter, as you type in the item that you're looking for, new results load instantaneously. And their theory is people read very fast, but they type very slowly. So you can put in a letter here, and this is going to be amazing when it finally does hit mobile, because it really does speed the search results, and it helps you to use that predictive text much more intuitively. Yeah.
The idea is that they think they can cut 2 to 5 seconds from your entire searching time. Marissa Mayer was saying they've focused on reducing the amount of time it takes to return a search result once you press the enter button. But they found that there's only so much farther they can go. They've made that really fast. And the bulk of the time doing a search is typing in your results and then looking at the page to find your results. And so this is a way of speeding that part of the process up.
The collective time savings, she said, would be 350 million hours per year. That's 1 million hours a day almost. Of course, that's a ballpark. And I think it's a good concept because they are just constantly iterating. And one of the questions in the Q&A afterwards is, do people care about fast searches? And everyone on the panel said, yeah. And I was trying to think of how we could demonstrate how this works. And there was a video that Google actually put together to a Bob Dylan song. And if you're listening, we'll explain it afterwards. But if you're watching, watch this, and it makes perfect sense.
John is in the basement mixing up the medicine. I'm on the pavement thinking about the government. A man in a trench coat, batch out laid off, says he's got a bad cough, wants to get it paid off. Look out, kid, it's something you did. God knows when, but you're doing it again. You better duck down the alleyway looking for a new friend. A man in a coonskin cap and a big...
So if you're just listening, what we saw there was as every word was said from this Bob Dylan song, it was typed into the Google search box, and you could see the results page changing as fast as Bob Dylan was singing the lyrics. And it really makes sense that, wow, that's totally different from what happens if you search all those words now. You'd have to load the page. And the point that Leo and Steve Gibson made this morning, holy bandwidth consumption.
Yeah, it was really interesting when I was watching that just now. I noticed the I'm feeling lucky button is not gone. It hovers right there to the right once you get a significant number of words recognized.
You have to make a concerted effort if you want to use the I'm feeling lucky button. And the guys at Silicon Alley Insider have noted that alone may make Google $110 million a year. Because, think about it this way. If you click on I'm feeling lucky, you don't see a search results page.
Right.
And you don't see the ads associated with those search results. You just go directly to the first page listed.
And one of the things that you may not have seen in that ad is that the ads actually do continue to show up. I think Ken, our VP of engineering, was saying he saw like 3 ads at a time showing up there on the bottom of the right.
So they're cycling through just as the page is cycling up. And
now,
do you want to read this email that we got about
Katie
this?
from Pennsylvania wrote into TNT, said, I'm wondering about this Google Instant. Do the ads that show up while you're typing count as ad impressions? If so, that's a major disservice for the advertisers. I realize AdWords is mostly geared towards cost per click bidding, but if nothing else, the stats analysis is going to be messed up quite a bit if it's telling Bob from Discount Pen's online pen outlet that their ad is being shown every time someone is trying to search for penis. Feel free to replace penis with Pennsylvania or something you would find more radio friendly. Too late, Katie. But yeah, the point is well taken, which is your ad isn't on the page for as long as it used to be in this situation.
A ton of questions for the Google folks about SEO. And the short answer from Marissa Mayer again was, this is not changing ad ranking or ad results, but it probably does change the ad duration and the number of ads that each search returns. So I think that this is a really good point in terms of upping Google's. They're going to have to address this issue.
Well, I guess the idea is if it's cost per click, then you just have to get better at making an ad that will capture someone's attention in less time.
Right.
Because you're still only going to pay for the click. So the burden falls on you to be more creative in your limited amount of space in those AdSense areas.
Now, pens and penis, there is one feature worth mentioning. This is back from Katie's email, that Google has specifically, whether you have safe search on or not, it will not show what it has deemed to be adult or sexually explicit terms that, again, if you type in PEN, it's not going to just automatically.
It's not going to jump to that. Or if you're typing association,
no, the
you're not going to
ASS
get just
will not, and no image loading at the same time.
Exactly.
So they've done that for kids' safety, they say.
Engadget got their hands on a Motorola Droid 2 that was opted into the Google Instant Search, and they've got a couple of screenshots up to show how it works there. Just like on the web, you get a limited number of results. It looks like you only get 2 or 3 results in the on the Droid 2 that they found that was showing it, but it does work.
Yeah, I think the factors are, especially when it's in landscape mode, you don't have enough real estate for those actual results to make too much of an impact.
Yeah.
Secondly, I think it is a bandwidth hog. And then the third thing goes back to what Erik Schmidt said at IFA about whether or not this would involve not just predictive sort of algorithms based on the letters and common results, but if it would also incorporate location data. If that happens in the mobile rollout, which has not happened yet officially, I think we're going to have some privacy issues.
Well, again, it's all about opt-in or opt-out. If it's opt-in, if it's I have to turn it on in my settings for Google and I have to be logged in as a Google user, I have no problem with it whatsoever. We want to have the ability to have location-based. You want to be able to type in restaurant and have it know, oh, you're in downtown New Orleans, here are the restaurants for New Orleans, right. But you want to have control over it.
Exactly.
You don't want it to be doing that when you haven't given it permission.
Right.
So, God, I'm so tired of people just jumping to like, oh, wait, that's a privacy invasion. Everything's a privacy invasion, because we'll end up with totally useless technology if that's the way we go about it. So it's just walking that line.
I think, and especially in mobile, that's where this predictive technology is most powerful, because the input mechanisms are so laborious. So I agree with you. I would opt in and take the quote-unquote privacy incursions, which I don't see as a privacy issue at all, over the laboriousness of inputting data. Agreed.
Speaking of laboriousness, we still have Oracle and Mark Hurd in the news. Mark Hurd, of course, the former HP CEO. He's going to be paid $950,000 per year to become the co-president of Oracle. He's also eligible for an executive bonus of $5 million. So don't worry if you thought $950K was a little low for him. He'll be fine.
Cheap. Yeah, he's going to be okay. And the bonus options go up exponentially. Yeah. Now, this has ticked off HP to no end. So let's look at the backstory. So the previous co-president at Oracle, who was a guy named Charles Phillips, he's resigned. Remember, Larry Ellison defended Mark Hurd when he was fired and said that HP execs, I'll quote him.
Well, they are tennis buddies.
They're tennis buddies.
What I've read.
Right.
Yeah.
HP board just made the worst personnel decision since the idiots at Apple fired Steve Jobs many years ago. And then Ellison ousts one of his own big guns, brings in Hurd, and now HP is saying this is a major violation. They've sued Hurd and said that because of the competition in the hardware space now between Oracle, Sun, and HP, this is a violation of this contract.
We mentioned that suit in the news fuse yesterday, and if you've heard about it, you should know there's no injunction.
Right.
Okay? Which if there was a big non-compete violation, they'd have to do. But their non-competes don't work in California, where this is being played out. What HP has to focus on is trying to nail them for trade secrets and saying that Hurd cannot perform as co-president of Oracle without divulging trade secrets. Therefore, that violates his departure contract. I don't think they have a hope in heck of making this stick. What I think they're trying to do is slap Oracle and make them settle out of court and feel a little bit of sting for hiring Mark Hurd, which is only making Larry Ellison mad. Don't poke the crazy. Larry Ellison has said that he doesn't think Oracle and HP can continue to cooperate and work together because of this lawsuit. Here's the statement. Oracle has long viewed HP as an important partner. By filing this vindictive lawsuit against Oracle and Mark Hurd, the HP board is acting with utter disregard for that partnership. Our joint customers and their own shareholders and employees, HP board is making it virtually impossible for Oracle and HP to continue to cooperate and work together in the IT marketplace.
And Ellison has been proven right today by the markets. Oracle stock has gone up, and a bunch of analysts have issued statements about the hire. William Blair and Company said, Mr. Hurd brings extensive knowledge of HP's servers and data storage systems, which should benefit Oracle as it moves further into the hardware space. Of course, this is coming off of the Oracle purchase of Sun last January. And right now, HP has about 40% of that market, but estimates are that Oracle could be up to 10% through the year. So Hurd could be a huge acquisition in personnel to lead them to that gain.
HP appears to be guileless in this situation. The clunky way in which they dismissed Hurd, where they kind of went out on a technicality, and then trying to use a technicality to bully Larry Ellison.
Yeah.
None of these things look to be good moves.
No, HP, that's a great descriptor. Guileless. It's just been ugly. They should shut up and keep their head down for a while.
And maybe the studies that say Android is going to dominate the marketplace might want to shut up and keep their head down too. IDC just came out with a new study, and thanks to PC for sending this along, saying that the market will comfortably support up to 5 OS players over the next 5 years. BlackBerry, Symbian, and Windows Mobile are about to or have already launched refreshed operating systems. With recent newcomers, Android and iOS, the latter operating systems have taken away both mindshare and other parts of the market. And they expect that we will not see a Windows-like domination, that we will not see what we discussed yesterday with Android taking 50% of the marketplace, that it will continue to be an oligopoly, for lack of a better word.
Well, I think this is really dependent upon a bunch of big-level, high-level business decisions. If, as discussed yesterday, if RIM or Nokia take on the Android operating system, then I think that opportunity for 50% market share is absolutely plausible.
And that's what they base their study on. Folks at IDC are saying not a chance in hell. RIM is not going to go anywhere near Android, and why would Nokia when they've got 3 operating systems already? So
they're pretty much all in. And did you see today that RIM bought Documents to Go?
Oh yeah, I remember using them on my Palm back in the day. They have some pretty popular apps in Android and iOS markets.
Yeah, I remember buying Documents to Go at Fandango, like the first app store. I think that's what it was called.
That's how I would read ebooks on my Palm, as I would get online text like DOCs of books, like public domain books like Jack London, and then I would import them into Doc2Go.
You know, the Palm back then is a lot like the iPhone is now. You know, a lot of the people in the tech community just jumped on the iPhone. We've all gotten into it. And I remember we were all into the Palms back in, maybe 2000, 99. We were all of the same ilk. So there's some sort of a parallel, I think.
Now, we mentioned, privacy invasion earlier and the idea of Google tracking you, whether you have to opt out or opt in. This story, I think, is worth paying attention to and being worried about a little more. The FBI and other police agencies do not need a search warrant to track the locations of American cell phones, according to a federal appeals court. A Philadelphia appeals court agreed with the Obama administration that no search warrant signed by a judge was necessary for the police to obtain logs showing where a cell phone user had traveled. Now, before you jump to the conclusion that that means that the government can just come in and spy on you whenever they want, what the Obama administration is asking for is what is called a 2703D order.
Oh, of course.
Which which requires law enforcement to show that the records are relevant and material to an ongoing criminal investigation. So
it's not as extensive as a warrant.
It's a little less of a burden of proof. And if you've watched The Wire, which I recently just watched entirely.
I'm so mad. I wish I was going to write on a piece of paper, Tom will mention The Wire. And hold it up.
You would have won this bingo. You get what they want because there's always this struggle where they're up on the wire and they've got the wiretaps and they've got the dealers dead to rights, but it's a question of whether they can get the subpoena, get the warrant from the judge, and what they have to get PC, probable cause. What this says is you don't necessarily need the high standard of PC that you would need for a warrant. You just need to show that they're relevant to an ongoing criminal investigation. Could that be abused? Absolutely. But that's what the government is asking for here. And so the question becomes, how much is your cell phone's location public information?
And that's the important thing. I want to qualify a couple things here because we're talking about location data. And in reading the court documents, what they said is it's not the GPS data, it's the triangulation from the cell towers, which is a difference between blocks and meters. You know, we're talking about not exact location.
Well, it's funny. With GPS, you would get more exact location sometimes, but no location in others where GPS doesn't penetrate.
Right.
With triangulation, you don't get as exact as you could with GPS, but you get more coverage. To me, it doesn't matter whether it's GPS or triangulation. The court precedent still stands, which is your location, however it's logged by the cell phone companies, something that the police can go get if they think that they need it to pursue a criminal investigation?
And I think, again, I'm going to qualify because it's not oral communication, and that's what a big difference is.
Not a wiretap.
No, and that's part of this 1986 act that basically prevents, warrantless tracking of oral communication. But the interesting thing is they call this transactional data.
Yeah.
It's the information about pieces and bits. And although I don't love it, I think that you look at the standard of the burden of proof here to get those warrants, it's not going to happen in real time. If it was for oral communication, then I think you need a full warrant.
Well, what the police are saying in most of these cases, and if you're a policeman and you want to clarify or correct here, absolutely, I invite you to write in, please, TNT@twit.tv. But my impression is they're saying, look, we need this information to build a case, and it's no different than following somebody. We can go out on the street and we can follow a suspected drug dealer around all day long without a warrant, and we can use that information because we're getting data to build a criminal case. And so getting cell phone location information is the same sort of thing. It's just another way of following someone around. And what the opposing groups, what the ACLUs and the EFFs say is, wait a minute, that's not quite the same. That is not quite the same as just following someone around. Although the ACLU and the EFF were not condemning this action. They were saying, look, the judge did say that there needed to be some level. They weren't saying that the cops could just go get it willy-nilly. They had to have some criminal investigation ongoing.
Right. It's a virtual tail. And I think that's where there's so much negotiation happening as the law catches up with the technology and it's all interpreted. So to be continued.
Yeah. And as the chat room is pointing out, people are using their burner phones anyway. You use them up once you throw them away. You can't track those people.
Well, we learned that on TV.
Exactly.
I mean, come on.
The European Parliament today adopted Written Declaration 12/2010, which tells the European Commission to drop negotiations, well, all but drop negotiations over ACTA. The article says citizens from all around Europe helped to raise awareness about ACTA. If you don't know what it is, ACTA is the anti-counterfeiting trade agreement that has been negotiated in secret, mostly led by the United States, in response to the World Intellectual Property Organization's failure to implement stronger anti-counterfeiting measures because the world opinion was against them. So the U.S. went off into secret, said, okay, if we can't get away with it in public, we'll do it behind everyone's backs. And they want to put DMCA-like laws in place around the world. After this leaked out, people started to find the draft of the treaty, tried to find out what was going on here. A lot of protests began. A lot of European government members started to put pressure to withdraw. And so this is the strongest reaction yet, which is essentially recommending that Europe not ratify ACTA.
Do you think that the way that copyright issues will ultimately be resolved is through a multilateral act such as this that's negotiated by tens, hundreds of countries, or is it going to be something that's more of a consumer solution, something that's on the market side?
I think it's going to be a consumer solution. And I think BitTorrent is a consumer solution that something like ACTA is never going to stop. There's going to be another thing like that. And so the only way you're actually going to come to some sort of working arrangement that preserves business models and encourages creativity is to adapt to current conditions and stop going, yeah, but I don't want people to do that. It's the infinitely copyable internet, and you can't stop how it works. It's the nature of how the internet works. You have to adapt to it.
I don't get it why so many smart people don't understand that there's always going to be a 10% sort of fudge factor here.
Because you know what it is? It's the parental reaction.
Right.
Which is
legislate.
Breaking the law is no excuse for me adapting to you breaking the law.
Right.
And it's hard for people. It's an emotional response. It's hard for people to get over that. I mean, I have to say, I've run into it time and again myself in other locations, in other areas where I go, wait a minute, how is this different from the copyright law that I react to? Because you want to punish people for your perception of them hurting you.
Right.
And we just have to move off of this idea. I don't think this gets resolved until about 14 years from now, when we have a new generation of people moving into decision-making positions who have grown up using the internet and living in a world where everything is infinitely copyable, and they have their own idea of common sense.
Right. And then I think also hand in hand, we'll see market solutions coming out where real options for streaming, for, rental, viable, cost-effective means for people to get digital content so that they, just like the iTunes solution basically killed Napster, of any Napster clones. People
will start to show that you don't have to protect old-fashioned copyright to make a business, and that's what gets rid of it.
Yep.
All right, a couple more stories. A freed journalist, a Japanese journalist who was captured in Afghanistan, says that he was able to help get himself freed by using Twitter.
That's right. Kosuke Sunioka was a freelancer who spent 5 months in captivity, and one of his captors got a new Nokia phone and said, do you know how to work this thing? So the journalist called the carrier, got him set up for internet access.
He activated the phone for the captors.
I love this. Hey, yeah, I'm activating. Hey, what are the last 4 digits of your social? I mean, of course he didn't, but it's like funny to think of it.
Well, and the first thing they asked him is, can we get Al Jazeera on there? He's like, oh yeah, here, let me show you. Here's Al Jazeera's website. But you know what you really need to be on is Twitter.
Yeah, you got to use the Twitter, guys. I mean, come on.
And so they're like, oh, well, show us how to use Twitter. So he pulls up Twitter. And they said, well, you can post things? He's like, yeah, here, let me show you. I'll post something. And what did he write?
I am still alive, but in jail. And then a few minutes later, here in Archie in Kunduz, in a jail under Commander Lativ, and it kind of gave location and personnel names. And then actually he was released, but he doesn't think it has anything to do with the Twitter post.
No, he says he doesn't think they realized that the Twitter post had even happened. But at least it let his business place and his family know he was still around.
Yeah, it's one of those, we think that things, it was not exactly a tale of a spy doing something, ingenious, but it's like, whatever you got to do, man.
Mark Andreessen is really enthusiastic about a new startup that he's invested in. They've raised over $55 million, and Andreessen Horowitz, his venture capital company, has poured a lot into this as well. It's a company called Kno.
You think?
I don't know. It's probably no, but K-N-O. There's no W at the end. And they are making a tablet oriented towards textbooks.
Right. It's a dual-screen tablet. And what makes this so compelling, in my opinion, is that one of the principal people is Osman Rashid, who was the co-founder of Chegg, the online textbook rental company, which is killing it right now. They are doing a huge business when everyone said it was never going to take off. And this is what this tablet's all about. It's Snow Crash, people. This is the one tablet to rule them all with 2 screens for college students.
The No software is built on WebKit. It's designed to run on a variety of hardware setups. There's a normal web browser for the internet as well, and you'll be able to view your textbooks and your notations on other devices. So it's got kind of an Amazon Whisper Sync, so you can get your textbooks on your laptop, on your other devices, as well as the tablet. So it's a cool idea. A lot of people have tried to make the tablet, including Amazon with their DX, to conquer the college market. I don't know what makes this one win over any of the others, except that it's very pretty.
I think the dual screen makes it interesting, and this is where the niche tablet market is more compelling to me as creating real competitors to the iPad than just a generic tablet. So you've got textbook on one side and you've got notation on the other, which makes it great for not only reading and note-taking at the same time, but also in-class note-taking with reference and highlighting. And the folks at Knows say that their testers have stopped using any other note-taking method in class.
Okay, well, that makes a big difference, because if the note-taking is actually good,
right,
so much that you don't need to take other notes, wow, that's pretty huge.
And this story also came out of TechCrunch, where anytime there's a TechCrunch story about tablets, I automatically think, Juju.
Yeah, don't think that.
And I think, you know what? Any hype about tablets, just take it with a grain of salt, people.
Yeah, I don't think this has the juju. Though. All right, let us move on to the news fuse.
No way.
Microsoft announced a Kinect bundle that includes the motion controller and the 250-gigabyte slim Xbox 360 that will sell for £300 in the UK. US price will be $399. Kinect comes to the US November 4th, Europe November 10th, including the UK, and Japan November 22nd.
Tom will be waiting in line. UBS analyst Maynard thinks the iPad could sell 28 million units in 2011. He also sees the iPad eating away at more of the PC notebook market. He says a limited threat from competition and considers his projections just conservative.
I'm just making conservative. Could be 70 million.
Wow.
Wondering how Teflon-like Apple is? Try this out. According to a survey conducted by Piper Jaffray, 20% of respondents decided not to buy the iPhone 4 due to its antenna problems. So not quite that Teflon. However, 3 in 5 of respondents said the bigger reason they hadn't purchased an iPhone is that it wasn't available on Verizon. Gene Munster, who you may have heard make some analysis before, conducted a limited survey of 258 cell phone users in downtown Minneapolis. So take that into account.
Do you think he called them all himself?
Yeah, or on the street. Hi, I'm Gene Munster. I'd like to talk to you about your cell phone.
Wired editor Chris Anderson posted on Twitter, a T-Mobile manager casually mentioned to me that they're going to get the iPhone 3GS, but not the iPhone 4 later this year. Common knowledge, end quote. Dude,
no,
you're the editor from Wired, and you're taking this as common knowledge when it's coming from a store manager? Come on.
It's an interesting idea.
I think it's actually plausible.
Yeah.
And as the
But
iPhone drinking game goes,
yeah, right,
it's worth at least 2 chugs.
Well, the one thing we know has arrived is iOS 4.1. It includes Game Center, a fix for the proximity sensor, so you don't hang up anymore when you're talking on the phone. 4.1 works with iPhone 3G, iPhone 3GS, iPhone 4, iPod Touch 2nd generation, and iPod Touch 3 and 4 generations.
Amazon.com acquired independent music download site Amy Street, or Ami Street. Amazon told users as of September 22nd, 2010, all Amy Street pages will forward to Amazon.com. Users will get a $5 promotional credit at Amazon's MP3 store. Amy Street, which does remain independent, said it plans to shift its focus to its own social music streaming service, Songza.com.
Yeah, so if you're confused, AmyStreet.com goes to Amazon. Amy Street Inc. stays separate from Amazon.
I was so confused.
A little weird. The Verizon Fascinate with Google's Android OS has less Google than some other phones, apparently. Verizon ditched the default Google search application widget in favor of Microsoft's Bing. Bing is also the only search engine tool on the device, including in the Android browser. Not so good for the AdSense.
No. 2/3 of internet users globally and 3/4 of web surfers in the U.S. have been victims of online crime. This according to a study published Wednesday by security firm Norton. The top countries for reported victims are China, Brazil, and India. Those are all tied for second, and then the U.S. But users aren't just victims. They also dabble in a little bit of the nefariousness. More than a quarter of people online have lied about their name. And more than 1 in 5 has done something online they regret. And this led us, before the show started, to put out some questions via Twitter and in our chat room about things you've done online that you regret. Tom, anything spring to mind for you?
I regret signing up for the $8 shell account on concentric.net in 1996, thus forcing me to spell ace detect wrong.
You know, that's just, you're so upstanding. That's all you can come up with. Come on, man.
I replied to all once when I shouldn't have.
Reply all. That seems like there were a couple of those types of ones. Let's see.
Frontline 99 said, this one time I called in sick to work and then did shots of tequila live on the internet. Don't regret it, though.
Nope. John Bart says...
That might have been yesterday.
Oh. Did his
on
boss
the post show of TNT.
Oh. I missed that. That's good. Here are a couple of the responses that we did get. John Bart says, does buying furniture online count? Zach Erickson says, I blogged about a crappy landlord. I never got my damage deposit back. Robert in the chat room says, I dumped a girl when I was a teenager over instant message. Come on.
Aww.
Rinbrand, I emailed a friend complaining of another friend and actually sent the mail to the one I was complaining about.
Ooh, that hurts.
That's a bad one. Another person said friending my mom on Facebook. And my favorite, well, accidentally sending love letter email to a guy friend and grandma.
Well, also, because this study was done by Norton Security, a few people said, my regret's installing Norton Security. Figured that was going to come. Also, I misspelled my posting on Twitter when I asked. I was like, a Norton stud says, and they're like, do you regret making that typo, mister? Yes, I do.
I regret all typos at all times. So if you have regrets you'd like to send us, if they're good ones, we'll read them on the show later this week.
On to the calendar.
Tom, do you know what BOGO means?
Best offer gets one.
Close. Buy one, get one free. And that's what's going to happen for the Samsung Fascinate. It's being offered on Verizon. And basically, if you buy one of these $300 phones, Android phone, with a 2-year contract, there's all this complicated math. You get a rebate here, a rebate there. You get the second one for $200, but the end result is buy one for $300, get the second one free.
You buy one for $300, and you get $100 off that makes it $200. Then you get the next one for $200 with $100 off that makes it $100. So they both end up being $300, which was the original price of the first one.
You could read that fast, and you could have a new career as like the...
Kind of buy one, get one free. It's mostly buy one, get the other one confused.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Nokia N8 is officially for sale the last week of September. That's in the UK. Let's see. Looks like the price is, what do I have here? £429 unlocked if you're buying it in the UK. Otherwise, you can get it with a contract from O2, from Orange, T-Mobile. £429 unlocked. You better get it with a contract. The thing looks pretty sweet, though. It has a 12-megapixel camera, HDMI out. If you're a Nokia fan, this is exciting news.
It's in the high street shops on October 1st.
Oh, I see. And Tesco.
Yes,
where I was
possibly.
About 500 times buying food over the last week on my vacation. Yes. This is an email from Ron, who sent this in. Star Trek debuted on this day in history.
This day being Wednesday, September 8th. Well, I don't know if it was a Wednesday when it debuted, but it was September 8th. The first Star Trek debuted on NBC. I believe, from memory, it was The Man Trap. Was the first one they aired.
1966.
Yep. Good times.
Yes.
Good times. On to the voicemails. Our first caller says, why has Android taken so long to build market share? I'll tell you why Android has taken so long to build market share.
Howdy, it's Bill in Ohio. And with regards to yesterday's discussion about the slow adoption rates of Android, why hasn't it reached 50% yet? Well, the answer is people in America are on 2-year cell phone contracts, and they only get a new phone when the contract is up. 2 years ago, Android sucked. Love the show.
Excellent point.
A couple of people emailed in the same thing and said, hey, you know what? Yeah, it takes a long time in the U.S. for people to change their behavior. So that's a good point. Bill.
I think that this issue about contracts and carriers is so overlooked by tech journalists and by... I'll never forget doing a segment on GMA about this and trying to convince Diane Sawyer that we should organize things by carrier, not by phone. And she's like, nobody cares about that. I was like, no, you don't know. We live and die by that stupid contract.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a big deal in terms of as you look at the market development of a new operating system. Really excellent point.
On to a visual voicemail or a video mail. And if you would like to do this, by the way, record your video and then upload it to your favorite service. We don't really like the attachments. We prefer that you send us a link like Tony did here. He's got an idea how Google TV might work.
Hey TNT crew, Tony from Wisconsin. On Tuesday's show you were talking about how there's really no good solution for controlling the Google TV. Well, I was thinking that Google, especially with Android 2.2, has really started focusing more on voice controls. So maybe instead of using a keyboard or remote control, you could just control the Google TV via voice. Just a thought. Anyway, thanks.
I like it.
The
Seems very Google.
one player who will ultimately control the living room is the one who can fix the universal remote problem.
Yep.
That is my philosophy.
Well, Logitech Harmony,
Do you have one?
I use one every day. I've been using it for years. It's awesome.
I battle royally with the damn thing, and I've
Really?
had 3 of them. I mean, they're the best I've seen, but for all the integrated systems that I have, I'm not saying I'm God's gift to home theater, but I'm about your everyman.
Could be a little easier to update, but otherwise it works fine.
I don't know. I struggle with mine. It's definitely the best out there. But my point is, seeing some of the Google search functions with the voice search on 2.2, have you used them?
But no, I haven't.
Oh, my
Not
God.
on 2.2, I haven't. No.
They're really good. And I would be very impressed to see if they could, A, solve the universal remote problem, and B, bring that voice search to TV. That solves the virtual keyboard problem.
Yeah. It's going to be 6 years before we've solved this problem. That's
Where do
my-
I write? The other one was 14 years?
Yeah, earlier.
Yeah, okay, 14 years.
14 years till we reduce the copyright problem.
Right, and then 6 years till the universal remote Google TV search issue. Okay.
And like 6 seconds until we read our email that was sent to us at tnt@twit.tv.
Right, and that's my job.
That's you.
Right. And you need to get ready to tell us about Slingbox at some point in time.
Oh, right. You know what? I'll do that right now because we don't want to forget our sponsor, Slingbox, especially because we're talking about TV, right?
Yeah.
And the ability to get your TV where you want it, make it convenient. Slingbox does that. They are sponsoring today's Tech News Today. You can get your television anywhere you want to go on the internet. So if you got a laptop, a phone, you just buy a Slingbox, you plug it into your internet, you plug it into your television, and all the TV you pay for already, you don't have to pay for again, but you can get it worldwide over the internet. If you're in Hong Kong, you can watch your TV at home. You can watch your shows off your DVR. You can watch them on your phone. You can watch them on your laptop. You can watch them over Wi-Fi if you want. Just try it out. Go to slingbox.com/twit or drop into a Best Buy and have them give you a demonstration.
You know, have I told you one of my theories about why Slingbox has a new feature that I think is actually really cool? Is that you might have had that old analog TV that you used out in the garage, but if you use, since the digital switchover, that thing doesn't work anymore unless you got the fancy antenna for it.
Right.
But you could take your laptop out in the garage,
Yeah.
and with your Wi-Fi signal, you could watch the TV.
Abso-smurfly.
Whatever, you're puttering on your car or something. Now to the email. Hey guys, I've been seeing commercials in my area for Clear, a company that offers cheap 4G mobile and home internet. I assume they must be using the Sprint network since they are the only carrier currently offering 4G. It seems almost too good to be true. Just wondering if you've heard anything from this company or if they might be part of the Virgin Mobile budget brand of Sprint. That's from Jason.
Actually, Clear is a partner with Sprint. Clear operates the 4G network that Sprint uses. Sprint and Clear merged their 4G businesses into a company that operates the 4G network. So when you're buying from Clear, you're sort of buying more from the source than you are from Sprint. I was using the Clear network in Atlanta for DragonCon, and it worked better than 3G. It wasn't perfect. It was great when I was in my hotel room on my own. It was so much better than trying to force it over the Verizon MiFi over 3G. I was able to do video. It was pretty smooth. On Friday, though, trying to do 2 Skype videos from inside a hotel rather than near a window, it was a little dodgy. So it's not 100% there yet, but it's totally legitimate. Whether you get it from Clear, you get it from Sprint. Also, Comcast is a partner, and they rebrand it. I think Time Warner is a partner, and they rebrand it as their wireless access. But essentially, anybody right now that's doing 4G, especially if they call it WiMAX, is doing the Clear service.
People in the chat room, a couple people have had access to Clear, and they say that they've had spotty, sometimes good, sometimes spotty reception, and so it seems like it's definitely starting to make itself known.
Yeah, Clearwire is also the other name that it goes under.
Yep. All right.
Well, that's it. Welcome back.
Hey, it's been great to come back. I missed you guys.
Yeah, I missed you too.
All right. Well, let's do it again.
We'll do it again tomorrow then.
Okay.
All right, cool. TNT at twit.tv is our email address. 260-TNT show is our phone number. And, of course, you can find us on the web at twit.tv/TNT. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.